Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about the entire crypto market, so sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys, could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate it. Now, all with that being said, let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So, Bitcoin is kind of just ranging here. I honestly thought that we were going to see a little bit of a better, sort of pullback, but of course pullbacks from here on out will most likely be shallow on the upward trend for Bitcoin's last major wave 5 run. I am watching a lot of altcoins, as they are ranging to have their massive breakout events. I'm going to be addressing that and talking about that in this, video. But when we are talking about the entire crypto market, right? There's a lot of great, buys in this market before they do massive, runs. Like for an example, like we've seen this with, a few assets on the 24-hour span, doing massive moves. Even on the 7-day span too, like the moves throughout the entire altcoin market, the rotations that are taking place are absolutely massive, and we could really kind of capitalize on this. A lot of people think that you need to 10x your money, you need to 20x your money to make a massive amount of, wealth in this market. But honestly, when you're looking at the 7-day span and you're seeing 122% of an increase in price, or an 87%, 56, like that's actually really massive in terms of ROI potential. And when we're talking about, how much money you put into, how much money you could really kind of make, you don't have to start with $100,000 to make $1 million. You could start with $1,000, and off of just a few, upward trends throughout this market by kind of swing trading, you could easily turn $1,000 into $1 million. I know that sounds unreasonable and, unrealistic, but that's how fast things move in this market compared to like the traditional stock market. But with all of this in mind, let's talk about how we're going to make some massive amounts of wealth off of alt season. So I tweeted out this morning and I said the biggest bull run in crypto history is nearing. Now a lot of people, are saying, it's still, a bear market. People were saying, there's no way that this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I want you guys to all understand right now that when we are looking at alt season, we are looking at a few factors that actually lead us to that point. First off, I will say this. I have been watching alts in general because we are really close to a massive breakout event here. You guys do see the weekly chart. This is the multi-weekly chart, by the way. This goes all the way back to the March of 2020 drop to our high point in November. Now, I want you guys to realize what is happening here. So first off, we are at the 702. The last time that we broke out of the 702, we had this nice sort of impulse all the way up to around 1.5 trillion before we had that nice little correction move, pulling back to about the 20 EMA, and then of course we had this massive run yet again to almost $2 trillion for the altcoin market. Now we are at this multi-year resistance level at the 702. If we do break above this, we will surge fairly good on alts, similar to what we did back here during the week of August 30th. I think that this is going to be very good for altcoins, and it actually kind of shows us this. If we're looking at a few altcoins, this is actually painting a clearer picture for us on why we are at multi-year resistance on a lot of altcoins, kind of just waiting for that next major breakout event. This is the chart that we all should be watching for right now and looking at the market and saying, wow, we are in a bullish market right now, because this is telling us that alts are so close. This is also the idea that, like, when you look at like the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, for an example, we're seeing a lot of strength in a lot of altcoins. Specifically, so is Ethereum. Ethereum is very bullish right now, as you guys do see this kind of ranging around the 236,382 fib level, getting ready to try to break out of this point. Now, again, last time that we broke out of this point, Ethereum went on a massive little bull run. This was actually to its all-time high. This is the week of December 6th. Let's go back to Ethereum, the USD chart. Here we have it. So again, here's around like the November time frame. We hit the all-time high during this time. The week of like December 6th, we were still at some pretty highs, here, but for the most part, this is still very bullish. And even if we look back in time on the fib levels, going back to the multi-year fib levels of March. So let me make sure that this is very close to it. So here we have Ethereum at clear resistance at the 702. So if we could break out of the 702 range, which we've sort of had a nice little candle wick above it, we could have that nice rally that we've seen back in November to the all-time highs. So again, watch this chart closely. Watch a lot of these charts closely as we are at multi-year resistance. Now, of course, I am also watching the indices. These have been doing very well. They are all in a buy zone. Things are looking to clear up with the Russia-Ukraine stuff. So as that is kind of unfolding and, stocks are looking strong, I'm also looking at the dollar and things like that. But things are looking very bullish for stocks and crypto. In fact, here we have one of the history books, one for the history books, NDX, the NASDAQ, completed a 10-day breadth thrust yesterday, top 6 strongest of all time. This is what I'm trying to show you guys. We need to follow things like this because this is extremely bullish for us. This is going to have us on a massive rally event yet again. This is also why I've been, trying to show you guys, that we should be paying attention to a lot of the stuff that is happening within the equities market, the commodities and things like that, because everything is really printing the picture of us going on this, nice parabolic run throughout the entire market of finance, specifically in risk assets. So I am watching, the 0618 fib level for the NASDAQ. I'm also looking at, even for an example, like the Dow Jones and the S&P 500. Because all of this is printing us a very good picture, and that is the idea that there is a lot of interest and demand around risk assets. I've also been showing you guys this even with the 10-year yield. I've been addressing this almost on a daily because when we are talking about things happening within this market, so actually I did not mean to go to that one, I meant to go to this one. So as you guys do see, this is still in a very bullish state. Currently, right now, we are finding some support at around this 2.38.5 percentile range. You guys do see the support that we ranged on back here during this time. We're actually almost in like a demand zone before we went to these highs. This was during that September, October 2018 time frame. But for the most part, I am watching, these major assets and markets closely because we are seeing a major rally throughout the board for a lot of risk assets and markets. Now, all while we are watching this, I'm also watching the dollar closely because the dollar looks like it's finding a lot of weakness. We've been, double tapping, triple tapping almost resistance, and we really cannot break above this point up here at around like the 99.41 range, which is very good because the last time that we've had a breakdown below this was back in February of 2020. And here's, that March of 2020 dropping point. I do believe that we will see a major drop and correction on the dollar. I'm not the only one. We actually see here DXY, the dollar, 3 top. It is very bullish for Bitcoin if this distribution plays out. And here we have that confirmation line of us kind of triple tapping the bottom here at around like that 97.8 point level. Now, if we are talking about this, right, I've actually wanted us to, come down and tap this bottom here at around like 95.18. This is like a major demand zone. But if we can come down and test that 382 level at 94.48 and possibly even break below that, that will be very bullish for all of these markets. Now, all while I'm watching this as well, I'm watching Bitcoin closely because Bitcoin is the key player here as we are looking for altcoins to have a lot of capital flowing into them. So we do see here, I'm ready for the Bitcoin party to start. And we do see the chart here. Now, this is accumulation score. We could see the level that we are currently at compared to like 2020 and 2019 and things like this. Currently, we have this nice little correction, similar to what we've seen back in March of 2020 as well. Here's that like corrective area. And then we had this nice accumulation zone before we, had that massive parabolic run during 2021. Similar to what we are here, we could also compare this to 2019 before we went on this nice little run to an all-time high, or not an all-time high, but close to the all-time high, and then we kind of ranged a little bit, had that corrective state back down to about like $3,000, and then we had that nice rally yet again. So for the most part, it looks like we are in this mass accumulation before we head to this massive breakout event. This massive breakout event will be our final wave 5. And there's a lot of individuals calling for their high targets. For an example, here's a high target point on Bitcoin ranging from like $146,000, almost $147, to about $201,000. Now, when we are talking about wave 5, I've been addressing a few target points on Bitcoin, but my target point altcoins are between this 2618 and this 3618 level, which is $127,000 to $163,000. That is my topping point for Bitcoin. We do see us hitting that clear resistance point going back as far as the week of September 27th. Like I said, almost everything within this market is at massive resistance points before that next major breakout event. And if we could repeat this process of us actually breaking up above this point, it will most likely be next week when we do have that breakout event that will lead us to a new all-time high, or at least a test of the all-time high. Now, of course, are we looking for shallow pullbacks along the board? 100%. We have seen it in the past as well, but they are shallow. Hence why you see these massive green candles along the board on the way up. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to have pullbacks along the way. Like I said, shallow pullbacks could be like 5 to 10%. Even on the daily span, you guys could really kind of see those, pullbacks back here in time. When we had like a nice move up, we came down, like roughly 2%, and then we've had it all the way up to the all-time high. And in fact, we've also had a corrective state where we came up, tested a nice little high of like 67K, came down. This was about a 14% pullback, which was really nothing in regards to the overall aspect, followed by yet another almost 20% rally. Now, of course, sometimes this does take a little bit of time to really kind of play out, because this was roughly around 19 days total from the day that it started to drop to the day before the all-time high was placed in. And if we go to the all-time high, it was like roughly 20 days. So again, this is going to take a little bit of time to get to those high targets, but I do believe with all of the bullish news around crypto and with a lot of adoption happening, I do believe that 100K is inevitable for Bitcoin this bull run. My high targets are of course on the board. Do I believe that we are going to these exact targets? Not specifically. We could, just run a little bit shy to like around like 120K, but I do believe that we could go even higher to around 200K possibly. It all depends on how much buyer demand there is for Bitcoin. Now, all while we are watching this, I do not hold Bitcoin. I'm just going to be 100% transparent with you guys. I am looking at altcoins. We do see a lot of altcoin movement going to that multi-year resistance level. This is on the weekly chart for XRP. You guys do see the multi-year resistance at around 90, almost 3 cents. We had this nice wick to about almost 92 cents, which is almost it's like a almost triple tap in terms of that topping point. But when we are talking about this level, this is where we want to see a breakout event, because, as we do see back here, we had this massive skyrocket event at $2 to almost $1.40, which, by the way, around $1.43 roughly, almost $1.44 is multi-year resistance as well. So we really need a confirmation break above that after we do break out. XLM, very close to a breakout event, 24 cents. If we can break out of this, we will most likely go on a major tear to all-time highs, similar to what we tried to do back here in May. We hit about a high point of roughly around almost 80 cents. You can see why this, basically happened. I mean, here's that multi-year resistance level being broken, trading sideways, finding some support, having that next major breakout event, slight pullback, again, finding support on a fib level, going back to the multi-year supports, and then kind of trading sideways with that nice upward trend. So again, I'm watching a lot of these altcoins closely. Hbar starting to have a little bit of a breakout event, hitting some resistance right now currently at the 50-day EMA. Next major target for me is the 236 level, but I'm not going to get bullish until 35 to 38 cents is targeted. And last but not least, of course, Zilliqa. So Zilliqa is having a little bit of a nice sideways momentum, trade here. This is of course on the weekly. Let's go to the daily to really kind of address this. So here we are finding support currently at around roughly the 9 almost 10 cent level, but for the most part, a lot of these altcoins are looking very good to really kind of test their, previous all-time highs or previous highs that they made during like the May, April timeframe throughout this market. And if we can test those, we can most likely break out and continue onward to have that nice alt season rally. Of course, like I've said, I'm watching a lot of altcoins that are at these major resistance points to see if they are going to have, one, a correction, or two, an official breakout. If they do have a correction, I'm going to be a buyer, because that means that when once we do test that, resistance level again, of course, we'll most likely break out. But ultimately, I am watching the total 2 to tell me where a lot of the strength is within the altcoin market. Like I said, if we could break out of the 702, that is going to give me a clarification on, hey, altcoins are very, very bullish right now. So with that being said, I hope that kind of clarifies and kind of sums up the overall market structure view right now. If you guys do want more content, you guys can go check out NCashOfficial.com, where I do have my official exit plans, trading indicators, stuff like that. If you guys do want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to go check out the Discord and the Twitter down in the comments below and in the description below as well. But with that being said, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.